Sorry, I hit the button. Okay. So what we want to do now, right, is we want to fill in the rest of the value. We want to smooth everything out and just clean up the drawing a little bit, okay? But it's got all the values it needs. So what I would do at this point is see if you can go into where this core shadow is on these pieces. Just bring them out a little bit. They don't need to come way out. Try and get them to blend in to that dark value area as quick as you can, okay? If you need to turn the paper sideways to do that, please do. And all I'm doing is I'm using this pressure right here, and then as I go away from it, I just take pressure off, okay? And I'm going to work all of those core shadow pieces to where I get a nice, soft, blended transition to the next value. And when I get that, I'm also going to come in here, so I need to pull this value up here. So this goes, like I said, this up here, this is where you just kind of adjust stuff and make it all cleaned up, okay? And I'm even going to bring this value, since I have to fade it up to his foot right here, right? And I'm going to make sure I clean up my shapes, make sure they're all nice and accurate and not all rough. And the key to making things look like they're in front of another object or behind another object is make sure you have a value that's different than the one next to it, right? If I didn't darken this in here, it'd fade into here and it just kind of looked like it joined right there, right? But what I want to do is I want to come in and I'm going to darken that value and bring it across, and that way it looks like it's behind his body, okay? And if I don't have anything out around him, I'll just come in here and I'll probably just draw a line around him. I mean, if you wanted to make him look real 3D, you wouldn't have any actual lines. I'd probably put some shading in the background here, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and put a line around him. Just so you can see my edges. Like right here, that leg goes back, so I'll probably even darken this in just a little bit, right? I want to make sure that shape, I'll probably do something like that, right, to where that leg goes back, and then I'll feather all that in. And the reason why, I didn't explain earlier, but the reason why I leave that little glowy edge on there is because if you get into like more complicated lighting, once the sun hits, well, it comes across here, and what happens is it bounces back, and so it's kind of like a reflected light, and it just gives it a cooler look too. If you get in there and add in the glowing edge, we call them glowing edges. If you add those glowing edges in, it just makes it look a lot neater. And yeah, I'm just going to come back in here and work on making my circles nice, right? So when I make a circle, I try to get it symmetrical. I don't want it to have any flat spots or be all lopsided. So when I draw circles, I always turn the paper like all the way around so you can see what it's doing. Like right here, this is going to let me, come in here and put a little more shading on Kirby's body right there, right? I want to darken that up so the line kind of fades back in. Right there, right? But I'm going to follow this. I'm going to follow this roundness right here. I'm going to keep it round. So this is maybe where you come back and use the curved line. Yeah, that's starting to look nice. I was kind of worried about that. I messed up a little bit, but same thing here. I'm going to come over here, draw this, surround them with that. Make sure I keep that glowing edge out there. It's looking good. And I can come out of here. And I'm going to go easy on this circle with Kirby. I got to make sure that's I did not turn it when I sketched it, so I just want to make sure that's a nice round circle. Just take your time. Don't try and draw it perfect. Turn your paper. It'll help you get rid of all the flat spots and all the weirdness in it, right? See, that's a pretty good looking, yeah, but I mean, that's awesome. See how it looks nice and round, you know? And I could add some more stuff in there. I mean, you can go crazy on this once you do that. But like I said, if you understand how your light's hitting an object, you can draw anything you want to, even if you don't light it. Like we lit up our origami sculptures, right? Well, you could draw that flat and then put your light on there, and if like this by yourself, and if you understand how that works, you can create you know, your own lighting scenario. You can make it from the top, from the bottom, from the sides. It does not matter. Okay? And like I said, I could keep, this one came out pretty good. I could keep working this right here, you know. But that's a nice 3D Kirby, right? If you're using one color like I did, if you want to really get another darker value, you can always come in with a secondary color, something darker. If you're using your pencil, you know, it's 100% pressure. It's about as dark as you can get. Like in this case, if I go in here, like let's say I'm going to darken his eyes, I can lay this purple on top of this crimson, right? And if I do, I get that really dark value. And what I typically do is if I do this part of it, I don't cover up the other color. What I do is I let that initial color shine or shine through the color I just made. And when you do that, it gives it like this nice kind of a color pop. So instead of those eyes looking just like dark, dark blue, it'll still look dark, right? But when you're looking at it up close, you can see like the red coming through the blue, and so that's like a cool color pop. And what I do as well, if I'm using like a light, kind of the last thing I do on here is, this works out all really good. I'll come in and put like a yellow on it like that, you know, like your two colors plus a yellow, and that gives it like this awesome light on there. Big time color buzz, right? I could come on Kirby's eyes right here. I could put some yellow right there, right? So same thing in the mouth here. If I want to make that dark, like you can see way back inside of him, I'm just going to kind of come through with that color. I'm just going to add it on top, but still let it show through. Oh, and that looks great, right? So that's where I've gone to the actual core shadow right there. All right, if you get that, it's going to look super duper 3D. Now, if you do use that secondary color, don't use a lot of it. If I use too much, it'd throw it off, but I'm just going to put it in the area where I think it's like the darkest, right? And then the same thing, I'm going to really lightly fade that, but look at how nice that looks, you know. And then I can pull my my middle value back this way a little bit, and then just right here, give that a little bit of yellow coming across this thing right there. Super duper, you know, but like so much better than just drawing it flat, right? It just gives it this energy. All right, so that's it. Give it a try and go through all the steps, right? Take your time and see what you come up with. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. All right, thank you. See you in class.